Yes.
Okay, so we did catching for our fundamental movement. I'm Elsa, and I did the instructing, kind of throwing part of the task.
I'm Renee. I was kind of a recruiter for the kids, as well as did some throwing and instructing.
And I'm Summer, and I did most of the videotaping and everything.
So first we're going to start with the initial stage. Here there's clear outstretched arms. So some of the key things for the initial is their arms are fully out, their fingers are usually super tense and straight. They catch things like this or like this and like out. There's scooping that they do a lot. So here he's trying to catch the ball like this. And avoidance reactions, so turning their heads, closing their eyes, just kind of just doing the motion without thinking about what they're actually doing. So this one is pretty clear that he's turning away, and this next picture is Elle. She's a 3-year-old, and her hands are out, like fully out, and she's very rigid, her knees are straight. This video is the same picture from Elle of her going all the way through. So here she's just fully out and she tries to catch it, but it goes straight through her arms because she's just going like this. This is a video of Olivia. We gave her a smaller ball. We used 2 different balls, a small ball, this blue one, and then a larger purple ball that we used throughout the rest. Olivia is a 4-year-old. She's a lot more advanced than the other children, but this one showed her still in kind of the initial stage, at least with this ball, because she scoops it towards her. Her body is very straight, and she misses the ball. Oh, she caught this one. I thought she missed that one. It was the other one she missed.
She got better.
This one is her kind of getting towards more of the elementary area. So we told her after, initially she was very straight, we told her to bend her knees and bend her elbows. And what you'll see in this is, I can play it a couple times if needed, but she starts in this kind of ready position that we told her, and then as soon as we're about to throw the ball, she stiffens up, straightens her arms, and goes right back to the initial. So did you guys see how she just goes straight up, straightens her arm, and then she kind of went into it, but was kind of all over the place. That was pretty telling of the initial stage.
So next we went into the elementary stage, and at this stage usually their thumbs are up, the elbows are at their side, they're no longer putting their arms out, or they might do this, but then we told them to like put it at their side to catch the ball with their hands. Also at this stage, the avoidance, they didn't turn their heads, catch the ball. It was more of just closing their eyes if the ball was coming at their face because they wanted to protect themselves. They also used their arms to trap the ball and their hands to attempt to hold the ball, but then they would either close it too early or too late to where they would close their hands and then the ball would hit their hands, or they would catch it with their body. And then here are some pictures. This is Olivia, where her thumbs are up and her arms are at her side. And then another picture of Zoe, where you can see her eyes are closed, her fingers are very rigid, but she's trying to catch it with her hands, but it's a little too late, and you'll see that she'll catch it with her body. And then here's a video of it. So you can see she closed her eyes for like just a brief moment while she was trying to catch the ball, and she caught it with her arms and her chest.
That time we gave her a little bit more instruction.
Yeah.
And she followed what we told her to do. But she was still in the elementary stage in this because she reverted right back to what we did tell her to do.
And after we showed her physically where we wanted her to catch the ball, she was able to accept that and do it herself. And then next we have a video of Olivia. And automatically you can see she's in the ready position. She has her thumbs up, her knees are bent, and you can see that she's trying to watch the ball. And her watching the ball made it easier for her to catch the ball with her hands. And she was happy with it.
Okay, so for the mature stage, we found it hard to give a perfect example of this because none of the children were able to fully reach the mature stage. We do have an example of Olivia who is able to progress a lot more than the initial stage and has a lot of the characteristics of the mature stage, but no one fully made it because they couldn't consistently keep doing the characteristics of the mature stage. They would oftentimes forget and go back to what their instincts told them to do. But the characteristics of the stage are to have no avoidance reaction, to track the ball with their hands and eyes, and move to the ball if needed, and to also just have relaxed arms and absorb the ball with their body, and then using their hands only to grasp the ball effectively and to take it into their hands and absorb instead of using their arms and body to scoop it. So I'm going to play the video of Olivia who gets closest to this stage, and then I'm going to go analyze this video. So it happens pretty quick, but you can see she follows it with her eyes and hands, and she moves to the ball, and she grabs it with only her hands and absorbs it. I'm going to play it again. So yeah, it's not perfect, but she does absorb and she does make the effort to move, and she doesn't have that avoidance reaction, but it isn't super fluid and it isn't perfect. So this is a frame-by-frame analysis. And also, I just want to apologize for the blur in the corner. We had a thumb in the camera, but it was the best example we could find. So here she has her arms relaxed at her side, and she's ready to catch the ball. She's watching me for when I throw the ball. Next, she has her hands going forward. She's still watching the ball because it's now in the air. The next stage, it's coming closer to her, and she has her arms extended, and she's watching it. She's ready for it to come into her hands. And then it's about to get, and she does make that effort to move, to calculate for the distance that the ball moved. You can see she's bending her legs, and her eyes are still open, and they're not closed when the ball hits her. For this next frame, she's looking at the ball instead of closing her eyes, and she's grasping it effectively with her fingers and absorbing that ball. And then for the last one, she has it and she's absorbing it, and her eyes are still open. So that was the best example we could find to illustrate the mature stage, and she did a really good job following instructions to advance to that.
So kind of our program for what we did. The first day we got there and we just wanted to see where they were at. So we told them to stand across from us and we're going to throw a ball, and we just want them to catch it. So we saw a lot of this, a lot of this. Some kids they would start here and then still move, and that was more towards elementary, but we just wanted to see where they were. Then we started with different instructions, like we told them to, okay, instead of having your arms out here, bend them at your sides and bend your knees, kind of get into that ready position mentality. And then after that, we gave them a memory cue. We told them, okay, you know how to clap the ball, because we really wanted them to get them to use their hands. So we would bring the ball to them and say, clap the ball, and we'd have the ball in front of them and really focus on using their hands to catch the ball and not their body. We just gave them a lot of reminders, okay, watch the ball, don't watch me, watch the ball. And then when we were ready to throw, we would say 1, 2, 3, and then throw the ball. Modifications, in order to make it more challenging for those that seemed they were ready to move on, we used the smaller ball. We also stepped back farther to increase the distance between the thrower and the catcher. And we had them do, which we have a couple videos later on, we would have them turn around and say 1, 2, 3, go, and they would turn around and we'd throw the ball and they'd try to catch it. For rewards, we, like many of you, did stickers and also a lot of affirmations. So a lot of good, you really bent your knees on that one, or good job, you used your hands. Those kind of affirmations really helped us progress through the program. This is a video of, oh yeah, we'll try to turn the sound on. Elsa did a really good job of going through the program to show Zoe what we wanted to do and how we wanted to progress through. So here she's using her arms. So that was just really good of her, not only just telling her, okay, use your hands, but she physically went up to her and said, okay, use your hands, not your arms. And then the follow through of her doing that afterwards, which is exactly what we told her, was exactly what we wanted. It was so grounding. And this is another example of kind of, we tried. Thomas, he's a 3-year-old, and we did 3 different videos for this one, but we chose the middle one to show the program. He first had his arms just fully extended, just wasn't about to catch the ball at all. And then we told him to put his arms at his side. He kind of did it, but didn't really. And so then what we did is we went up behind him and did it with him. So we caught the ball with him, holding his hands, getting it ready. We should have put the next one after this, but so we say, okay, you're going to do it all by yourself, and so I stepped back, and he immediately went back to his just others. Even with the reminder, he went straight back to open arms, straight legs, straight hands.
So next we compared between the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, and for their ready position, what we noticed the most was that 3-year-olds usually with arms out straight like this, and then the 4-year-olds usually went like this. And then we have a picture of the comparison. So generally the 3-year-olds, that's what they would do, and then RJ's 5, but 4-year-olds, that's what they would normally do, either like this or like this. And then 3-year-olds typically use their arms and body to catch, so they would use it here. They normally wouldn't catch it with their hands. They had a shorter attention span, and they were less able to understand and apply corrections. So like the video we just saw with Thomas, we went right behind him, showed him what to do, even did a perfect example where we caught it with him, and then right after he just went right back to what he thought with his arms stretched out. And then for a 4-year-old, they usually catch it with their arms or their hands. They have the ability to add difficulty to their simple catching task, and they have a faster reaction time and more ability to understand corrections and apply them. So when we did this, we normally had, if they could catch it with their hands, usually have them step to the side, put it to the side, or in later videos we had them turn around and then they were able to catch it. Normally the 4-year-olds were able to do this. Some of the 3-year-olds we did this with, but when we did the turnaround one, by the time we turned them around, they forgot what they were doing. And you would be like, turn around, and then they would turn around and we would just stand there and we'd throw it and hit them in the face, or it just wouldn't work at all.
There's a lot of hitting the ball in the face.
So we learned that the 4-year-olds were able to understand and have a faster reaction time to this.
Okay, so with girls and boys, it was very interesting because we found that across the board, the girls had more ability to complete the task as we were asking, and they had better hand-eye coordination than the boys. So when we asked them to bend their knees and follow the ball, they were actually able to do that most of the time, whereas the boys, we had a lot more like body flailing, and they got really distracted at times. You'll notice the examples that we showed for the ability to progress from initial to elementary and elementary to to mature was only girls because out of, I think we had a pretty equal like group of people, but the girls were the only people that were able to catch the ball with their hands more than once. And so that's what we found. They also improved quicker, we found, and they were just more focused in general. But both of boys and girls of all ages did have this eagerness to participate. They had, I mean, there was balance issues, but that was more developmental through age and it didn't really matter their gender. And then also the willingness to try again. They all had that, even if they got hit in the face, they were willing to keep going. And so we thought we would include examples. These are for, well, they're siblings, but they're from the 4-year-old age group, but they're boy and girl. And we included the task where we asked them to turn around and catch the ball for added difficulty because it shows that the girls had more participation and more focus to complete the task. So as you'll see here, she is focused, she understands what she's being asked to do, and she completes the task. And in the next video, we have RJ, and he ends up flailing around. He seems distracted, and then all he really wants to do is touch the ball, but he doesn't complete the task that we asked him to do. For the next example, we have 3-year-olds. So this is the same task, and it was a lot harder for the 3-year-olds. But with Elle, she turns around, and she does get hit in the face, but she understands that she was supposed to catch it. And Christian was so excited, but he's a good example of that spastic body movement, lack of control, and lack of concentration. He's very excited. He was jumping around a lot, but we couldn't get him to catch it, even regularly, but especially with that task. So we had a lot of good learning opportunities with this project. The first day we had no stickers, and so it was easier to get them to come because it was the first day, but it was harder to get them to keep trying, and so we didn't move on from that initial stage, but it was the first day, so it was a good learning opportunity. We also found that getting them to come would be easier if you used phrases like, hey, do you think you can do this? Or, hey, I know you can do this. Or I saw you over there, like, do you think you can do this like these other kids are? Because these are children that, yeah, they are independent and they are, figuring out their skills, but they do want to be able to do what he can do or she can do. And they do want to be able to show you that, like, hey, I'm a kid, like, I'm a big kid, I want to try and do that. So with that, we found that giving affirmations when they did do it right or made a correction made them willing to try it again or keep that correction. And that was good emotional reinforcement. And then a good learning opportunity for me was don't tell them not to do something, because that usually didn't work, especially with a lot of the 3-year-olds. They had, little idea what I was saying in general because I was saying a lot of words. And so if I told them not to do something and showed them, they would usually just do that thing. And also giving directions while I was throwing the ball. Like if they turned around and forgot what they were doing, the ball was already in the air and I was trying to say stuff at them, but there was just too much coming at them, so they were really confused and couldn't figure it out. And so I have an example of this with Micah, who's 3, yeah, he's 3, and it was very difficult, and I did not make it easier on him because I told him not to look away, but I showed him how to look away. So and I showed him, and then granted that was probably going to be his reaction no matter what, because that's the avoidance reaction that they have at that age, but it didn't help that I told him not to do it and showed him. Another thing that I would do differently next time is probably be more consistent among all the children, because I found some kids I would just ask them right away to bend their knees and catch the ball, and some kids I would let them have a few practice rounds. And so just to get better, like, concrete results across the board, I would be more consistent if I did it again.
Something I would do differently, since I was more behind this first day I was more focusing on like the thrower, and then I moved to the catcher, whereas I probably should have focused more on the catcher at first to see more of their initial stage. And I think most of the videos of the first day you couldn't really use because I didn't get that initial stage.
I think for me, the biggest thing was the affirmations and doing appropriate affirmations and not just saying like, good job, you touched the ball, but like really focusing on, okay, great, you bent your knees, that's awesome. Or good job, you used your hands. Just using appropriate affirmations and not just saying good job, you say good job. Lastly, we wanted to talk about socio-emotional development. So the children who chose to try again and kept wanting to do it over and over again and really wanted to get better displayed a lot more pride and happiness when they finished. So if we said like, oh, you can do better than that, then they would try it again. And when they did reach that, they were so happy that they reached that higher level. And when they got the stickers, that really helped. We also saw a lot of children looking around at the adults watching. So if they caught it, then they wanted to make sure they did it right. They would look around and be like, okay, did I do it right? And then when we affirmed it, they were automatically happy. And opposite occurred if they didn't catch the ball, as seen in this picture. Olivia was really upset when she missed the ball, and RJ proceeded to bite his fingers when he missed the ball. But then Zoe was really excited when she caught the ball, and she did it right. Thank you.
Questions, comments?